Talanoa Hufanga, right? And it took me a while to be able to kind of really say his name, but my guy Chris was like, "No, it's you sound it out like just how it sounds. You say it just how it sounds." So we got Talanoa Hufanga, and a lot of people are excited about Hufanga, and their excitement has made it to where he's the most overrated player on the 49ers. And I'm like, overrated? Like, what does overrated mean for a rookie? You know what I'm saying? Like, what does overrated mean for a rookie? Like, this isn't a guy who has had, years to kind of show himself, and be like, all right, like, this is me. I think the excitement just comes from optimism. A lot of people are saying that he's overrated, man, and I'm looking at it and I'm just like, I'll say this: I was not the highest person on him when he was coming out of USC. All right, I looked at him as someone who lacked a step, and that could come and kind of bite him in the ass, while playing for the 49ers. I thought maybe I think it was a bit overblown, like, oh, he's just bad in coverage, but it's clear that he could potentially be a liability. That was kind of some of my thoughts as I was watching Funga at USC. I thought he was someone who had a good knack for being around the ball. The way they used him around the line of scrimmage, thought that was really good. He was flying around, he was making plays. I thought his anticipation was really good. He was a good tackler, like all that. We talked about his lack of athleticism. I think it's really more a lack of speed, not just pure athleticism. Like, the good guy can move. I don't think he's like just a big stiff guy or anything like that. Uh, Seeing him at the pro day where he was down to around 200 pounds, I'm like, okay, that's not really him, right? He's this guy, and you look at him on film, he looks like a 220-pound guy out there. When he weighed in at 200 pounds, it's like, okay, did he slim down to run the 40? And even at USC, he was listed at like 215. So the thing I was a little, most worried about when it came to Funga was, are people going to be able to scheme up things against him to put him in vulnerable situations because of his lack of the higher end speed? All right. Now, we watched him in the preseason game against Kansas City Chiefs, and you see him just flying around, flying in. And I'm like, wow, like, okay, maybe I was wrong. And when I say wrong, not wrong in the sense of my evaluation of him, but maybe I was wrong that his speed would be as much, would hinder him as much as I initially thought. You watch Hufanga and against Kansas City in that first game. I mean, he's flying around, like he's flying in there. He's making tackles. He's coming from distance. There was one play, it was third down and short, and he comes in like as a robber and comes down, smacks the guy short of the sticks. And I'm like, damn. The one time I saw him panic in that game, it was against Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill was running across her, and he got there a little early. And I'm like, okay, well, I probably would have panicked against Tyreek Hill as well. Now, you watch him now, right? And he's had an opportunity. And this is the thing, man, with all these guys. When you have that opportunity to get in there, you have to take advantage of it. Being a fifth round, draft pick, like, you're not guaranteed anything. When you get that opportunity, you have to make the most of it. And whatever he's been doing up until this point, whether it's at practice, whether it's on special teams or whatever, that has given him the opportunity to be the next man up. We've been screaming for people to play our rookies, play the rookies, develop the rookies, play Ambry Thomas, play Diamador Lenore, Trey Lance, Trey Sermon, all these other guys. And then they're like, hey, we're going to play Hufanga. And it's like, oh man, nah, he's overrated. Like, what? Y'all been screaming, and I'm not saying y'all as in my people in here, but just people, 49 fans in general, have been screaming to play Hufanga. And now they want to call him overrated because people are excited. And I think that's sometimes people's way of kind of putting guys down. Like, like, why can't people be, happy for a player or excited to see a player? And that's people's way of kind of pouring water on the flames. It's, oh, he's overrated because you're excited to watch a guy. I don't think he's overrated in the sense of how people view him. I think people understand what his limitations are, right? He's someone that lacks your ideal speed, but people are excited to see what he does with this opportunity. And he is somebody that can play football. He was a good football player at USC, and he potentially could be a good football player in the NFL. Right now, in his short time, yeah, he got put in a vulnerable situation against the Cardinals, right? And he had to match a guy, Christian Kirk, right, screaming through the middle of the field. Maybe that's not his strength. But so far, it looked like, at least in the Cardinals game, and I would have to go back and watch and see exactly how they used Hufanga, but I thought they used him more to his strength. He was around the line of scrimmage more. He was coming down, and I think he does a good job of coming down from it too high and reading things, reading crossers. I think having Jimmy Ward, and I see it right here from my guy Kelly Young, having Jimmy Ward back is huge for Hufanga. Hufanga looked lost versus Arizona. Okay, now hold on. There are what 70 plays in the game. I don't know however many plays they played against the Arizona Cardinals. And this is the tough thing with playing defensive back. And I think sometimes this can happen with offensive linemen as well. Definitely cornerbacks. Out of 70 plays, if there are 2 or 3 plays that maybe you're out of position for or whatever that don't go your way, you can have pluses. Because the way we graded film, and when I was with the Jets, right, we'd be watching film, watching practice, whatever, and you grade each play. You either get a plus if you did everything right, or you get a minus. So if you watch Hufanga against Arizona Cardinals, and you're watching them, and it's like, okay, did what he's supposed to do there, plus, did what he's supposed to do there, plus, and you get through 10 pluses. Now, as fans, we don't notice those plays, right? Because he did what he's supposed to do. He's where he's supposed to be. But then there's that one play where it's like, oh, he missed this tackle. Like, oh, Christian Kirk got him vertically. He's lost. Like, he doesn't know what he's doing. And it's like, whoa, man, like, what about the other 65 plays that he was in good position, that he was doing things right? So I'm not going to say that he was lost, or he wasn't in position or whatever. Can't communicate with him. He's in right position. Hufanga looked lost. I'm not going to say that Hufanga was lost against Arizona. I'll say there were a couple plays where Arizona's player was better than him on that play. Right now, what you want to look for is, are these things, do they happen consistently? Does he continue to get beat the same way over and over each week? Now, if he is getting beat over and over, then that's when it's like, all right, like, this is just always going to be an issue. And okay, he can fill in right now, limited action, but maybe in the draft, you're going to be looking for somebody that's much more athletic from that standpoint. And they're going to know right now that the safety position is shaping up to be a need for the 49ers. How high do you draft a safety? I don't know. But the game is changing to where you do need guys that are good in coverage. What you're going to find out right now, and I like what Kyle Shanahan did. Hey, we're not just handing the job back to Jaquiski Tart. We're not just going to give it back to him. We like some of the things that we've seen from Hufanga. We've liked the reps that he's given us. Are there things to clean up? Yes. That's with any rookie. That's with any rookie. Are there things with Hufanga that he needs to improve on? Sure. Is he able to improve on those things? He is the type of person, I will say this. He comes off to me as someone that works really hard. And I always look at guys that work hard. And maybe I saw somebody above in the chat say overachiever. I don't want to go that far, but I will say anytime I see someone like a Hufanga who just he's going to put in all the work to improve on his weaknesses, I bet on those guys. And there are things that Hufanga needs to get better at. Some things that he can't improve on. His speed is kind of just what his speed is. The best way he can help himself is to be able to play with high level anticipation. Now, again, there will always be those things when you do lack a certain trait. There's always going to be those things that it could pop up at any time. But I think some people will push back and say, well, we've had things pop up against a Tart. We've had things pop up against Ward. We've had things pop up against all these guys. So why do we judge a guy like Hufanga, tougher than anybody else on this team? So again, we kind of started with asking, like, is Talanoa Hufanga, is he overrated? Is he and again, we're coming back to some of the comments that were on Twitter that he's the most overrated player on the 49ers, and it's not close. And I just think that's extremely unfair. It's unfair. He's a guy. He started 2 games. He started 2 games, and every time we've seen him so far, he's done things where you're like, I like that. Wow, that was a good play. Shoot, the first time he played against Arizona, he made a key play, keeping containment on Kyler Murray. That was a really good play. Just the angle that he took, a high level play. When we saw him in the preseason, there were a lot of high level plays that he made. He does a lot of good things. Yes, he lacks the ideal speed, but sometimes I think we let something we let some like we might know something about somebody and then we let that like change our opinion of them. DK Metcalf, right? With DK Metcalf, it was oh he ran a 3 cone, so he can't run routes. Like you know what I'm saying? Like people literally, it was he sucked at a 3 cone, so DK can't run routes, which means he can't be a good football player. People actually ran with that narrative. And to me, it was the craziest thing ever because it's like, well, he does this good, this good, this good, this like, look at this. Like he does these things at a high level. You're gonna worry about a 3 cone? I think people are doing the same thing with Hufanga. They're looking at Hufanga and it's like he lacks speed, and they let that just change everything else about him as if he still can't be a good football player because he doesn't run a 4.4. And that's just not is not true. Yes, he can be a good football player. I don't take it as the excitement for him is not overrated. They're not overrating him. People aren't overrating him. They're just excited to see him play. Just like everybody's been calling for all these other rookies to play. But you got the one rookie playing, and everybody is like, overrated. Come on, man. Let the kid play. I like what I've seen so far from him, and I'm just curious to continue, watch him grow.